Hello, everybody. So, I have some exciting information for Windows 7. And I know you're like, Windows 7, why are you sharing that? That's been gone for years. Yes, but they finally figured out what caused the problem when you were using Windows 7 and it would take forever to load the desktop if you had a solid color background. They have figured out what causes that problem. So I wanted to share this with you because I thought this was very interesting on how they were able to diagnose it, troubleshoot it, and get it fixed. So I wanted to share that information with you. Well, as you can see, Windows 7 took ages to load if you had a solid background. But now we know why. When Windows 7 came onto the market in 2009 and put Microsoft back onto the road to success after the Windows Vista's annoying failures. But Windows 7 was not without its faults, as this curious story proves. Some users apparently encountered a vexing problem at the time. If they set a single color image as the background, their Windows 7 PC always took 30 seconds to start the operating system and switch from the welcome screen to the desktop. Now, in a recent blog post, Microsoft veteran Raymond Chen explains the exact reason for this. According to him, a simple programming error meant that users had to wait longer for the system to boot. And after logging in, Windows 7 first set up the desktop piece by piece. It would load the taskbar, then it would load the desktop window, then the icons for applications, and even the background image. Now, the system waited patiently for all components to finish loading and received feedback from each individual component, or it switched from the welcome screen to the desktop after 30 seconds if it did not receive any feedback. Now, the problem here is that the code for the message that the background image is ready was located within the background image bitmap code, which means that the message never appeared if you did not have a real background image bitmap. And a single color is not such a bitmap. So the result is the login system waited in vain for the message that the background had finished loading. So Windows 7 never started until the 30-second fallback activated and sent users to the desktop. Now, the problem could also occur if users had activated the hide desktop icons group policy in Windows 7. And this was due to the fact that such policies were only added after the main code had been written and called by an if statement. However, Windows 7 was also unable to recognize this at first and therefore took longer to load. Now, they did include a copy of the snippet of code that was causing the problem. So Chin shows the following code snippet as an example to illustrate the problem. So you can see the original code would initialize the desktop icons, which would bind to the desktop folder, enumerate the icons, add them to the screen, and report that the desktop icons were ready. But they had to update it so that it would work with group policy. So you can see they updated with group policy support. They would initialize the desktop icons. Then, if the desktop icons were allowed by the policy, then it would bind to the desktop folder, enumerate the icons, add them to the screen, and report that the desktop icons were ready. Well, this went unsolved for months. And according to Chen, it took several months for Microsoft to recognize the problem. But in November of 2009, it was then fixed by an update and has not been a problem since. But it's a nice anecdote for the various errors that can occur during programming. And I thought this was very interesting for you all because I wanted you all to see that that is what was causing some of the issues where it would wait for 30 seconds just to finish loading the desktop on Windows 7. So if you happen to have set it as a solid color, I mean, obviously, at this point, it's been fixed because they've released updates that take care of that problem. But when you first put Windows 7 on the computer and it would take 30 seconds to load, that's why. It's because it wasn't part of the bitmap. And so you had to go and actually install this one update, and then it wouldn't sit and pause for 30 seconds. It would then realize, oh, it's a solid color. Okay, we can move on, and then it would load the desktop, or at least the rest of it. And then you were ready to get from the welcome screen to your desktop and ready to go. So I hope you all found that interesting and also helpful if you were encountering those problems back in Windows 7. Why did it take 30 seconds to actually load the desktop? Well, that was the reason why, is because it was a solid color. And I know all you had to do was just change it to an image and it would have loaded like that. It wouldn't have been a problem. It wouldn't have taken 30 seconds to load. But if you do have any questions about this, or maybe you just like to discuss it with me, please let me know down below in the comments and I will do my best to get back to you. And if there's a video, topic, article, anything that you'd like me to make a video on, please let me know that down below in the comments as well. And I will do my best to create that video for you. And if you found this helpful and you'd like to support this channel, I left a link down below in the video description where you can buy me a cup of coffee if you'd like to. And because you all do such a great job, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button so I can keep putting up more great content like, did you know why it took Windows 7 so long to load the desktop? And I'll be more than happy to keep putting up all this great content for you all. Thanks so much, everybody. I really appreciate you all. I hope you have a great day. Take care. God bless, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.